So in this section, we're going to talk about what I'm going to call your new future. Your new future. There are a few things I think you can do to create a great future and have it keep getting better. I'm going to recommend a few concepts and a few actions. One of the things that will probably give you more rapid development and more fulfillment than anything is to find someone who is less advantaged than yourself, who's an entrepreneur, but who's a star who's going to make something happen, but they're less advantaged than you, and mentor them, and don't ask for anything for it. So if you want to have a great future, find someone that's a star, that's less advantaged than you, and mentor them. It'll be good for your ego, too, because you'll teach them everything that it's taken you 20 years to learn. They'll implement it, and they'll blow right by you. You'll realize you're not quite as cool as you are, but you'll still feel better about it. Teaching is such a great way to learn, such a fantastic way to learn. And being selfless and teaching. So I'm going to give you permission right now to share everything that you're learning with one person as long as they meet the following conditions. They can't afford it themselves, and they're a star, and they're less advantaged than you. Teach them everything. Get out the workbook, print out a couple of the exercises, walk them through it, take them on a journey, show them the material. Now, why do I want you to do this? Really? Because I want you to realize that there's more to all of this stuff than you're seeing here. We really are scratching just the surface. If you could go through this experience exactly again in 2 years, you'd hear everything differently. And you'd hear it, you'd say, oh, now I understand. And then if you come back 2 years later, you'd say, oh, now I really understand. And then 2 years later, oh, now I really understand. And when you teach it, you'll have another experience of that. Because as you're teaching it and the person's learning it, you'll see it being applied. And then you'll realize, oh, hey, I'm up at a different level now. That's interesting. And you'll see the progress that you've made. It's a great way to not only drive the learning deeper, but to see it in a different way, see it in another dimension. So who would be willing to find one star? They have to be a star that's disadvantaged and teach them this stuff. Okay, good. In the spirit of what I'm about and in the spirit of what Tony Schwartz shared, I'd like to ask you to create one new ritual starting immediately. And I'd like you to do it for the next 30 to 60 days. But I'd like to ask you to create a specific ritual. And this would be your morning ritual. Maybe you have one. I mean, we all have them. Maybe you have one already. But this one I'd like you to create by design. I'd like you to take it and tune it. Joe Polish, you in the room? My good friend Joe Polish is in the back of the room here, and as hard as it is for me to get out any kind words about the man, he is a very close friend and a spectacular human being and a great marketer, and a pretty funny-looking guy, too. But he introduced me to a gentleman that he's done a lot of work with, Bill Phillips, who's a very, very successful guy. You know, the rumors are he's worth $500 million, made all this money in his 30s. I mean, just very smart business dude. An executor. I mean, like just a speed of implementation guy, right on top of all of his marketing and so forth. And I was fortunate enough to have lunch with him once, not too far from here. And we sat down and we were talking about what it takes to actually go from out of shape to in shape quickly. And he'd probably know because he literally wrote the book on it, huge blockbuster, like I think the best-selling fitness book in history, also had all of these, probably tens or hundreds of thousands of people submit these applications with the before and after 90-day challenge. The man really learned a lot. And he said it all comes down to a few factors. But one of the factors that he said really resonated with me, and it changed the direction of where I was going a little bit. And it plugs into this idea of the ritual. And what he basically said was, people that are successful getting fit quickly, getting in shape and staying in shape, are those that start the day off right. And he gave an example, and he said, if you have a really healthy, super healthy meal as your first meal, your brain goes into this mode of, okay, I started the day right, and then you compare every meal to that one. And so you don't want to screw up your good day. On the other hand, if you have an okay meal that day, all the other meals that you have that day, you kind of go, well, I didn't really start off that good, so this can kind of just be a little bit of a cheat day and whatever. If you have a horrible meal, then that's it. You're just going to be eating junk food all day. So he said that first meal, and then he went further into how you start the day is how you end the day. So I took that to heart, and I've actually built a whole, morning personal ritual myself, and it's been huge for me. Who here is not quite in the physical shape that they'd like to be in? Raise your hand. Okay, good. If you're not exercising regularly, you're not taking care of yourself, who would be willing to spend 1% of your time to have good physical fitness? 1% of your time. Raise your hand. 1%. Okay, good. 1% of your time amounts to about 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Do the math. 168 hours you get in a week, 5 days, 20 minutes, 100 minutes. Will you spend 20 minutes a day in the morning, 5 days a week? Yeah? Okay. Now here's the trick. You got to do all this stuff first thing. If you're having a challenge, you just got to do it first thing. You might have to wake up an hour earlier than everyone else. You might have to do something. But just for your sake, I want this for you, build a new morning ritual. In fact, right now, get a blank piece of paper out in your journal. At the top, write down my new morning ritual. My new morning ritual. And then write down, I commit to do this 5 days a week. And what are the things that you don't consistently do? It's kind of sketchy. And you'd love to build a little routine so that when you wake up, it's like the rat in the maze looking for the cheese, and you just run down the thing. And in fact, you have to stop yourself and go, whoa, that's amazing. I've just run down this maze and make myself healthy every day. So what are the things you'd like to do? Write down 5 of them right now that would be part of that ritual. And it's for you. And they may be health related. Maybe you're not brushing and flossing every morning, and it's just time to get that handled. Maybe you're not exercising, fine. Maybe you're not drinking water first thing when you wake up. Maybe it's that.